မိဘပြည်သူများအားလုံးမင်္ဂလာရှိတဲ့ညနေခင်းဖြစ်ပါစေ2023နှစ်သစ်မှာကိုရောစိတ်ပါကျမ်းမာရှင်လန်းပါစေလို့ဆုမကောင်းတောင်းပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ကတော့ဒီနေ့စကားဝိုင်းကို moderator ဖြစ်ပြုလုပ်သွားမယ်ရဲထက်ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဗျဟုတ်ဒီနေ့ကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့2023ရဲ့ပထမဆုံးနှစ်သစ်ကူးနေ့ဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ပြီးတော့ဒီပြည်သူ့ပန်းနိုင်အဖွဲ့ဆိုရင်လည်းဒီပြည်သူ့စစ်သားအဖွဲ့ကနေပြီးတော့ဒီပြည်သူ့ပန်းနိုင်အဖွဲ့ဖြစ်ပေါ့နော်ပြောင်းလဲဖွဲ့စည်းတာတစ်နှစ်ပြည့်တဲ့နေ့ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ဒီပြည်သူ့ပန်းနိုင်အဖွဲ့အနေနဲ့ကတော့ကျွန်တော်အဓိကအဖြစ် defection ပေါ့နော်ပြည်သူတွေဘက်ကိုကူးပြောင်းရက်တည်ခြင်းပေါ်မှာအဓိကရက်တည်ပြီးတော့လှုပ်ရှားနေတဲ့ဖော်ဆောင်နေတဲ့အဖွဲ့ဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီနေ့ဒီနှစ်သက်ကူပထမအဆုံးအတွေးခေါ်လန်းစကားဝိုင်းအစီအစဉ်မှာ defection ပေါ့နော်ပြည်သူတွေဘက်ကိုရက်တည်တဲ့defection မဟာဗျူဟာနဲ့ဒီ2023နှစ်သက်မှာဒီ online ရှေ့ခီမှာဘယ်လိုမျိုးအလားအလာတွေရှိနိုင်လဲဆိုတဲ့အကြောင်းကိုဆွေးနွေးဖို့ပြင်ထားပါတယ်ဒီနေ့ကျွန်တော်တို့စကားဝိုင်းမှာအတူဆွေးနွေးမဲ့panelist တွေကလည်းရောက်ရှိပြီးဖြစ်ပါတယ်အများစုလည်းကြည့်ရှုနေကြပြည်သူတွေအနေနဲ့သိရှိပြီးဖြစ်ပါလိမ့်မယ်ဗျဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့အစီအစဉ်အနေနဲ့ကတော့ဒီနေ့စကားဝိုင်းမှာကျွန်တော် panelist ၄ယောက်ရှိပါတယ် KNU ကနိုင်ငံခြားရေးတာဝန်ခံဘဒိုစောတော်နီပါပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ Esther နဲ့စီနော်ပါပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ဒေါက်တာဖြိုးတီဟာရှိပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ CDM ဘိုးကြီးခင်ပပထွန်းရှိပါတယ်ဗျဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီစကားဝိုင်းမှာ moderator တဦးချင်းစီကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ပထမအစီအစဉ်နေနဲ့ကတော့ဟိုအမေးဖြေသဘောမျိုး7 minutes စီလောက်သွားဖို့ရှိတယ်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်အမေးဖြေအစီအစဉ်ရှိပါတယ်ဆိုတော့ပါဝင်ဆွေးနွေးလိုတဲ့သူတွေမေးခွန်းမေးချင်တဲ့သူတွေအနေနဲ့လည်းဒီအခုကြည့်ရှုနေတဲ့ live video အောက်ကနေပြီးတော့ဒီ Zoom ပေးထားတဲ့ Zoom link ကနေဝင်ရောက်ဆွေးနွေးနိုင်ပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ comment ကနေလည်းဝင်ရောက်ဆွေးနွေးနိုင်ပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်အချုပ်ဆွေးနွေးသွားမှာဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဗျဆိုတော့အခုကျွန်တော် panel ကိုစလိုက်ပါတော့မယ်ပထမဆုံးကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဘဒိုစောတော်နီကနေစချင်ပါတယ်ဘဒိုမင်္ဂလာပါဗျ
ဟုတ်ကဲ့မင်္ဂလာပါခင်ဗျာ
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်ပထမဆုံးမေးချင်တာပေါ့လေဒီဟိုဘဒိုတို့ပါဝင်ဘဒိုတာဝန်ယူလှုပ်ဆောင်နေတဲ့ KNU ကရင်မျိုးသားအဖွဲ့အစည်းဆိုရင်လည်းဒါတော်လှန်ရေးမှာဟိုတက်တန်အရင်ဆုံးအဖွဲ့အစည်းဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ဒီအဖွဲ့အစည်းမှာပါဝင်လှုပ်ဆောင်နေတဲ့သူတယောက်အနေနဲ့ပေါ့လက်ရှိဒီຫນွေဥတော်လှန်ရေးမှာဖြစ်ပေါ်နေတဲ့ဒီ defection အခြေအနေပေါ်မှာဘယ်လိုမျိုးသုံးသပ်လဲပြီးခဲ့တဲ့နှစ်တာကာလမှာဘယ်လိုမျိုးတိုးတက်မှုတွေဖြစ်ထွန်းမှုအခြေအနေတွေရှိလဲလက်ရှိမှာကျွန်တော်ဘယ်လိုအခြေအနေကိုရောက်နေရပေါ့နော်ဒါဘယ်လိုရဲ့အမြင်ပြီးတော့လက်ရှိဒီ KNU အနေနဲ့ရောဒီ defection ပေါ်မှာဘယ်လိုမျိုးမူဝါဒတွေသဘောထားတွေရှိလဲပေါ့နော်ဒါကိုအဖွဲ့အနေနဲ့ဆွေးနွေးပေးဖို့ဖိတ်ခေါ်ပါတယ်ဗျ
ဟုတ်ကဲ့အားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်defection เนาะအထူးသဖြင့်ဒီဥစ္စာကိုကျွန်တော်တို့ပဲပြောင်းလာတဲ့လူတွေပေါ့เนาะအဲ့လိုဆိုတဲ့နေရာမှာတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကြည့်ရမယ်ဆိုတော့အချိန်ကာလအဖြစ်တော့ဟိုအထူးသဖြင့်2020မတိုင်ခင်အဲ့ဒါတွေကရှိထားပြီးသားပဲရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ဒီလောက်2021အာဏာသိမ်းပြီးတဲ့နောက်ပိုင်းမှာဖြစ်ပေါ်လာတဲ့ defection အနေထားတောင်းလဲသွားပြီလို့ကျွန်တော်ပြောလို့ရတယ်အရေးအတွက်အဖြစ်တော့ပို့တော့များလာတယ်ဟိုကျွန်တော်တို့တတ်မှာတိုင်းမှာပို့တော့များလာတယ်အဲ့ဒါကတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဟိုတကယ်လက်တွေ့သိနေရတဲ့အနေထားပဲဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုတော့များလာတယ်ဘယ်လောက်များလဲဆိုတော့တော်တော်များများမေးရတဲ့အခါမှာကျွန်တော်တို့အခုလက်ရှိပြောနိုင်တာတော့တတ်မှာတိုင်းမှာဟိုရာကနန်းနဲ့ကြော်တဲ့အနေထားရှိနေပါတယ်နော်ရာပေါင်းများစွာလို့ကျွန်တော်ပြောလို့ရတယ်ဆိုတော့ယော့သွားတာဆိုဘယ်လိုမှမယော့သွားဘူးသူကတစ်စိမ့်နဲ့လာတော့ပဲအဲ့လိုဖြစ်နေတယ်နော်အနေထားမျိုးကဒီလိုရှိနေတဲ့အခါကျတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဒီဟာအမှန်တန်အရေးကြီးပါတယ် defection
every brigade and defectors and that the part about defection is very important because defectors can fracture at the military forces. For this revolution to win, there are three main factors. First is the public support. Second is the understanding and the accompaniment of the international community. And the third most important factor is about the dismantling their military, and dismantling or the fracture or the fraction of the military is very important because the military in Myanmar is a very strong institution. It is an institution that is strong because it has absorbed and it has swallowed many other institutions to build it stronger, and that's why it is very hard to fight against the military. It is important. It needs to crumble itself and it needs to go down as well. That's why defection is important. Defection is necessary. It is also important to ensure defection goes defection goes ahead and continues happening as well. And it is also, in a way, it's a challenge also for us, because defection is not new. We have always have encountered that, because it is important to maintain it, and to maintain it can also be very difficult, because during the long years of civil war, whenever the military regiments or military columns, when they come into our area, their behavior and their attitudes and their action is very bad. They've been banning villages, they've been banning houses, they've been killing the civilian, they've been conducting sexual assaults and rape against the local communities. So the local community have the very difficulty when they have to engage with the defectors, because they see the defectors as soldiers. They see people very clearly. The soldiers are very bad, and they attack Burma. These are bad. They are Burma. They attack us. They ban villages. They rape our women. So they have only concerns when they see a Burma soldier. But that said, we in the KNU, the humanitarian policy is very important. We hold on to this and adhere to this. Doesn't matter what kind of feelings or sentiments we have or reservations that goes that we has, that we don't. We need to get leadership. We don't follow what the people, the world. We cannot let the people roam free. So we have to give a strong leadership. It's not that people do not follow us, but they are very concerned about the fact that despite their concerns, despite their worries, they try to follow our policies and guide as much as possible. They will provide security for the defectors, and that in addition, that and because of the defectors, and that the villages are no longer safe, and they have to move to a new place, and the defectors, to protect the defectors, the community will move to a safer place, and they would stay by their side even for the future of such defectors. And that they will do what they can to support and to assist as well. And that that they will do whatever they can to help support the lives of the defectors. And these show that there are challenges and there are difficulties, but we have a policy, and we implement the policy, and people, despite their reservations and that difficulty, they support that. Another challenge is that when it comes to civilian and military relation, there is no trust. Trust has been lost for a long time. So when people who came here, that when there are those, there are CDMers that come from the soldier, from the police, we cannot put them together because they are very problematic, and it is something we understand, because the hatred, it's very strong. So it comes strongly to us as also they have strong emotion against each other, hated each other. We cannot mix those people up as well. We have to separate them. So we have to treat them differently as well. And those who came to us like this, they are not just one person. We have to provide for the security, we have to pay for the living, we have to provide for the livelihood and support as well. And sometimes they might even need to be reconciled with their parents as well. So with their children, with their families, and now we have to provide for education and health. So these are also extra challenges as well. Another challenge that we have seen after the coup is that when there such defectors are in every brigade. We have such defectors in every brigade, in every area. And when we look at them, we can categorize them to three categories. There are those who are like disgusted with the military. They are active, they are dynamic, and they want to join the armed resistance against the military hunter, and they fight back. That's the first group. And there are those who are depressed, who are really sad and disgusted, and they merely I would just say that they cannot walk, they cannot function, they were just eaten, go to sleep, and they are very psychologically greatly impacted, that they can barely function. So that these people are there, and even among the defectors, and then the defectors do not get along with each other, and those who are active, who are working then, and then there are those who they cannot do anything. They don't like them, they don't like each other. You're not doing anything, you're just eating, and you're just going to sleep, and then you're not doing really anything. So there is some sort of resentment among the defectors. That's also another challenge. So we also have to that to handle that as well. That's what I'm saying. So there's such challenges. And then last category of the factors are those they for the future. They want to have opportunity. They want to go to a third country. They want to leave for the better opportunities. And these also have a lot of challenges on their own as well. So when we have this kind of three kind of categories of the factor, it doesn't matter how many challenges are. We have tried to provide as much as we can to handle the situation as much as we can, because I believe that that defection is very important and much needed for the success of this revolution. It is important to that we need to continue working to be in order to dismantle the military. In terms of the policy, I think when I was invited to the panel discussion, I already analyzed that as well. This is our policy. We welcome that as well. In the KNU, we have the military ideology that to treat the enemy as fire, as soldier. That is how we treat against how we treat the enemy. But however, those who give up weapons, and those who they surrender, and those who join us up in the defection, we have to treat them with humanitarian principle. That's the first one. Second is the code of conduct. Code of conduct, if those who ever attend the military trainings is well aware about it as well, that we have to follow the code of conduct to a larger or a smaller extent. The code of conducts are very important for the defectors or for the prisoner of wars. We try to ensure that people follow the code of conduct as much as possible. And the thirdly is that when we engage with the international community, especially when it comes to Geneva Convention, and that it is important to be clear about the distinction between the fighters and unfighters, and that civilian as well. And it is also important to follow and then adhere with the comply with the humanitarian laws. And we give trainings. So we give the trainings every year, even like recently we are giving training to them as well. And that also it is also important to train them. So those people who, especially those are the defectors, when we treat them, it is important that we need to be humanitarian. We need to be able to treat them with humanity. Humanitarian principles are important. That's why we have to treat them as well. These are the basic principles for us in dealing with them as well. And that I think in the first and second panel discussion, I also have discussed these twice in line, so I don't have to go into details on that. That's all I would like to share. Thank you. Thank you, Bro Tony, for explain for the clarification, and that and you understand that KNU have a strong policy, and that KNU follow its policy as well. That it is also important to treat with humanitarian values or to the defectors, as well as on the present as well. I have to ask you that a follow-up question. So you said that about there are strong feelings, hatred, and resentment against the military because they have committed burning down of the houses, killings, and that assault as well. So local community has strong feelings against the military, and that said, despite these so with these strong feelings of the community, and that how can you work with how can you continue to welcome the defectors, because there are so many other organizations who are welcoming that defector as well. On the one hand, you have that you also have the strong feelings and sentiment as well. There are also, on the other hand, you also have the security reason that they could be, these defectors could be informants or the lands or the spies for the military too, and that they could also bring in securities. So how do you manage the risk? Yes, that is also important. It is important to that this is something we also have to go through their verification as well, and that these are the points that you have mentioned are also important, that we have to be aware about this, especially the accepting the defectors is our basic policy. But what happened is that especially with after the 2021 military coup, the defectors are not like others, because the defectors after the coup is much higher in numbers, so that sometimes our policy, existing policy, are no longer enough. So what do we have to do is that we have to find a way to handle that challenge. So this is also our committee, something our committee work on. We look at our existing policy, that our existing policies are no longer enough. So what we do is that, okay, we look at them, and that so is that and that what we have to do is we to ensure the recognition of the basic rights and work with the partner organization, and that we also inform them that their security and the security of their family is the most important. Thirdly, is that every individual person will have to go through the security assessment. They will need to collaborate with us. We need to ensure that they participate. We do the security assessment as well. The security assessment is so we try to make it adapted to nowadays. The times is also different, so we also need to ensure the security assessment. What I'm saying is that before we might not be able to do that, but that it is not like the security assessment is something we do, but not like not like that of the military. And then what we also did is that we asked them to participate in the security assessment, and that we also consider them for the conditional honesty, because when we assess them, some of them are not, some of them have not committed any crimes, and some of them could be part of the crimes, or some of them could have been complicit to their war crimes, the crimes that they have committed. And if they are part of the crimes that committed, and what we have taken them is that they have to go through something, especially that we have our own justice system as well, so that they have to go through our own justice system. They have then that we will give them opportunity for that, and then we give them that opportunity to get some amnesty. But that is no that is that is not taking consideration of this grievance and the serious crimes like the genocide or the crimes against humanity or war crimes. There are limitations to what we can report there, what we can help them as well. That's what I'm saying, is that when they have the local community have a strong feeling as well, and that people also have a strong feelings against them. But it is important that doesn't matter what kind of strong feelings are there, it is important that we are the leadership, and that we need to be able to stand strong and provide the leadership for the people as well. So we try to make sure that the situation is controlled. But nowadays there are many armed organizations happening right now that has been created, that has been established at that, and that what for our organization is that international humanitarian law, IHL, is important, and we give training about the international humanitarian law. We teach about the Geneva Convention. We try to meet with the forces, different forces, in person or online as well. Because some people say that, oh, this is revolution. It's not important. Revolution should be no, even the revolution, if you don't follow the rules, if they don't follow that international humanitarian laws or the Geneva Convention, then after the revolution, then they will be held accountable for the crimes that they have committed. That it is that we have seen the examples of what is happening. We have learned from other countries that if that revolution does not follow the international humanitarian laws, then there will be justice to be there as well. So that it is important to have attend the military code of conduct. It is important to ensure the rules and regulations are followed. In addition to that, it is important that the humanitarian laws must be must be made aware of, must be given education, must be communicated, and make sure that they are compliant. If there are concerns that there could be that military could have spies or the informers in them, we have to do the systematic security assessment, and we also need to do the vetting process properly. That if we have to make sure that they are who they say they are, and that they are not as spies or not. And then at the same time, we also have to make sure that they don't have access to the communication tools or the anything that can be dangerous to the security of not only for the other defectors but also for the community as well. Thank you for the detailed explanation. And these are also important points that we have to be aware of, and that so I know that and also thank you for sharing such awareness to the other forces, and it is important that can you continue doing that as well. Now let me turn to Ms. Esther.
ရှာတူတူဖြစ်ပါတယ်ဆိုတော့အမကိုလည်းကျွန်တော်ခုနမိကုံပဲပြန်မေးချင်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒီကျွန်တော်
Esther is the activist for the
အရေးပါမှုရှိခဲ့တယ်
justice.
ဘယ်လိုမျိုးလိုအပ်ချက်တွေဘယ်လိုမျိုးအခက်အခဲ
I would like to ask you a particular question regarding the defection what is your opinion in terms of the progress of the defection situation that we have now, and what would be the room for the improvement? Thank you. Ado mentioned about the challenges that we face in the ethnic area quite comprehensively. For me, I would like to say that my father was ex-military man. He resigned 20 years ago. I come from ex-military family. In the past, our family did not accept the discrimination in terms of race, in terms of religion. So that's why my father resigned his duty. So in the past, there were many soldiers who resigned the military, not necessarily in the forms of defection, but with the principle of doing the right thing. So my family pulled itself out of this not proper institution. And now we have the revolution. This revolution became the driving factors for the defection. And there are many defections. There are many defectors ongoing. This was the case in terms of soldiers defecting in the past. There was underlying causes for the soldier not wanting to be part of this institution. But this revolution revealed this root cause of the grievances of the soldiers. The patriarchy, it's what has been very much there in this country. Due to this ideology, many families were destroyed, many individual grievances. In this revolution, in this spring revolution, we many defectors. Why? Well, they did not want to be part of the regime, and they did not want to take the command of the military junta. And in terms of the institution is supported by three pillars: the volume of the soldiers, the financial support of the institution. So in terms of the volumes of the soldiers, if it would be reduced, then this institution would be extremely weak. And the third pillar of this institution is its ideology. And at the moment, the ideology of this institution is not proper at all. So whenever we talked about the defectors may have different opinions regarding the ideology of the institution. And some of the defectors leave or left the institution individually, and some of the defectors left the institution with their family. Anyway, and some of the soldiers did not necessarily have a chance to leave the institution, but serve as the source of information for the pro-revolution forces. But nevertheless, in terms of all the informal who are still within the institution, create the challenges for the military regime. So this is to show that the internal trust, confidence is rather weak. So the more defection would be there, the more collective strengths would be distorted. Internal non-solidarity is very much instrumental for the dissolvement of an institution. So this is the perspective that I am sharing with you as an individual within the military. So if there is no unity within the institution, the decision will be improper. The more improper decision, the more damage that the institution would encounter. Defection is very much giving the benefit of the revolution. Now, I would like to talk about the other thing in terms of the public confidence. The public confidence on the institution was as lowered at this moment. And the people or the soldier within the military also see the institution as an improper institution. So we talked about our problem of the ethnic people in the past when we were treated wrongly by the military. But the majority of the public did not trust us. We have this region completely burned down. So all their true faces is revealed in this revolution. And the household that got burned down by the military might be the military of the soldiers themselves. So the defection, it's a proof of the soldiers that who became very upset about their wrongdoing. So there are many defection going on. This is a proof that the line of command, the public confidence, it's getting deteriorated at this moment. So that's why I observe that defection it's a very instrumental for the winning of the revolution. I read a paper from an Australian organization, and that organization came up with some statistic that there are more than 10,000 defectors, and this is quite a number. And that paper also says that 10,000 defectors may not have a huge impact over more than 300,000 soldier constituted institution. But then again, on the other hand, we have to also consider the corruption dynamic of this institution. So this is to say that 10,000 might be underestimated by this organization, that it's quite a pro-military organization. But anyway, we can already sense that the actual defectors number might be more than it's speculated. And now I just to say another point. We have all the audiences listening this conversation. This is the moment that we see the highest number in history. So this is the hard evidence And this is the fact that this institution, it's deteriorated and soldiers are leaving. So it is quite a challenge for everyone to welcome the defectors. But we really need to understand for the fact that the institution is being left gradually by its soldier. So defection is quite critical for everyone in this revolution. Thank you very much.
ကြောင့်ဒီတရားကို defection
You
ကအဓိက
talked
တွန်းအား
about
ပေး
the
ပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ကျွန်တော်
internal
တို့ဒီလေ့လာမှုတွေကိုဖတ်တဲ့အခါမှာ
solidarity dynamic,
အခါမှာလည်းဒီစစ်တပ်
which is rather important factor
စစ်သားတွေ
to have more defectors,
ဒီလက်နက်တို့ငွေကြေးတို့ဒါတွေက
which is rather interesting. And
သူတို့မှာဒီ
we also read in the past that
ကကြောက်တာဒီအတွင်းစိတ်နှောင်
the military leader
အဲမှာလက်ရှိစစ်တပ်အတွက်အဓိကဟိုစိန်ခေါ်မှုဖြစ်နေတာတော့
normally
စစ်တပ်ဘာကြောင့်တည်
do
ရှိနေ
not
ရလဲ
fear
ရှိမှုတန်ဖိုး
about the casualty, about their weapons, about
တိုက်နေရတယ်ဆိုရင်မေးခွန်း
their financial situation. They
အနေချက်လိုမျိုးသူအဓိက
fear
ကြောက်နေတဲ့အရာလို့
mostly about the defection. So this is what we learned as well. So we really have to be mindful about all the ways which would promote the defection
ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ defection ပေါ့နော်ဒီ
in this revolution. I also would like to
ကျွန်တော်တို့
ask you a follow-up question. Whenever we talked about defection,
ကျွန်တော်တို့က defector ပေါ့နော်
soldier
ပြောင်းနေတူလို့ခေါ်မလားဒါမှမဟုတ်
would be called defector,
အတွေးခေါ်တွေဘယ်လိုမျိုးရည်တည်ချက်တွေဘယ်လိုမျိုးစဉ်းစားချက်တွေရှိတင်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒါမှ
how would they be called? What kind of attitude that they should have
တင်တာစီအောင်
when they are out of the institution?
ဘယ်လိုမျိုး
In terms of the public, would public
ဆွေးနွေးပြပါလိမ့်
them? Should public welcome them? So I kind of wonder what would be your opinion in terms of the ideal attitude that a defector should have. I mentioned that my family was the defector's family. In terms of our experience, we came up with some of our own family values. We were pressured in terms of our belief, in terms of our situation, and we did not share our belief in terms of why we defected. But in this Spring Revolution, our family speak out in terms of why we defected in the past, because we want to be the witness in terms of the defection. We want to be the witness in terms of sharing our belief and ideology promoting the defection. We know that there are families that are facing dilemma in the institution to leave the institution or not to leave the institution. We want to encourage them to leave the institution. So that's why involved in this movement. So first of all, why we leave? There are several reasons for soldiers leaving the institution. They do not want to be part of the murderous. They don't want to be the responsible individuals in this killing fields, and they did not want to kill the innocent civilian. So these are all the reasons that the defectors may have in order to leave. the institution. We read from medias as well some of the testimonies as such, and some of the soldiers might face the social pressure, public pressure for being who they are. Their families would be treated very discriminatedly by the public for their wrongdoing. So again, with all this emotion, they may leave the institution. And another reason for defection might be your own personal belief. You may not appreciate the values, norms, and ideology of this institution. Then you may also leave this institution. Again, defection is very much based on your own heart and with your own mind. And we really have to look at the systems and regime rather than emotional status of leaving the institution. So you may feel whatever way towards this institution, it would be very much complicated. Not based on the emotion might be the right way to make a decision to leave the institution. Because the thing is that you have to look at the system, whether it is a right system. You have to look at the regime, whether it is a righteous regime. And based on that, you will make a decision. So fascism institution, it's used with the soldiers for it to be functioning. So you need to clearly see that you want to be a drop of fuel to run this fascism institution, the fascism engine. So you have to understand it clearly. So we have this we have this patriotic ideology. We have this dictatorship ideology, and we have this bourgeois system. So in Myanmar, there is this militarism very much practiced. So with all this militarism, other subsystems happened. So the fascism, militarism, it's to be uprooted. If it to be done so, it is very important for you to dissociate yourself, to leave yourself out of this institution. So the essence of the defection is to leave this fascist dictatorship militarism. So this is the essence of the defection. So all of this, it's very much rooted in all across the country in terms of testimonies that we heard from the defectors in when we observed the um testimony of the wives of the defectors soldiers. We can clearly see that they are the victims of the patriarchy system. They are the victims of the fascist militarism. So all of these happened unnecessarily on the ground. So this system is to be abolished. So if this system is abolished, all the difficulties that we are facing will be solved automatically. So defection is the way to eradicate this system. And we suffer from this system. You knew, and we all know that this system make us very difficult. Why you want to be part of it? I mean, you know already that it is a very bad system. So that's why we want to encourage everyone to see the system. And second point I would like to talk about is that it is not you being biased in leaving this institution. You are enjoy your human dignity, your human rights that you are born with. So for that, you need to have a meaningful life, and there are bills of rights for each and every one are not born to be controlled by someone. So it is very important that the defector should not have the emotion in terms of love, in terms of hate, but just purely looked at objectively in terms of things when you make the defection. And there are ethics I would like to talk about. There are military ethics. There are ethics for soldiers. There are 60 items that constitute the soldier ethics, the code of conduct. So you have to take the legion of the student. So when it comes to the state is not the military junta. So you are to protect the state. You are to protect the civilian. You are not to protect the dictators and to follow them. So this is something that you have to be very critical about. So I am trying to say that defection is not about the feelings or the emotions. So it is all about objective. It is all about changing the system. It is all about making the right decision. We are making a new system. We are creating a new country. So you have to be objective and you have to be reasonable in contributing yourself. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for all of your valuable inputs. And what I learned from you is that it is about love, it is not about hate, it is not about your personal emotion, your personal feeling, that you have to be um, that you have to take it as a value. Your value has to be based on your belief. The value has to be based on the good system in making the defection. So now I would like to invite Dr. Phio Thiha.
ဘယ်လောက်ထိကျွန်တော်တို့တက်ရောက်မှုရှိခဲ့လဲပေါ့နော်ပြီးတော့လက်ရှိအခြေအနေမှာ defection ကဘယ်လိုမျိုးအခြေအနေရောက်နေလို့အခုသုံးသပ်လဲပေါ့နော်ဒါလေးနဲ့အစပြီးဖွင့်ဆွေးနွေးပြပါ
I would like to give you the same questions and how do you see how important is the defection is and how important the progress the defection has made this year. I think very soon after the revolution, the people call it as a CDM movement, also a disobedient movement of the defection. And there were a lot of articles I've written about the topic as well. As initially the response of we don't need the CDM movement, we don't need the defectors, and that they are saying because there is also the strong hatred of the people against the military. So there was the strong sentiment against them also that they don't need defectors, they don't want defectors as well. On the other hand, also there has also been a horrible, like a very much, interrogation as well, in the torture for those who are against the revolution as well, and that so that people now that people have being human, that you have emotions and you have feelings, and that's as well that although we are treating the defectors well enough, whenever they arrest people, people are being mistreated, people are being killed. So people have strong emotions that needs to be taken into account as well. But it is important that military is a strong institution. They have superior weaponry because there is writing, there's revenues that this country has generated from the extraction of natural resources as well. So we have seen there has been a reaction from the people, those when they first joined the CDM movement, as well as that if it is a military, it's an institution that has a professionalism, that has a dignity. They will say they wouldn't give up. They would give up because they see how strong the public movement is, and how people feel strong about them. The military blindly choose to go ahead to hold on to the power. So the challenge that we are facing is that this is a military, it's an institution that has been built, that has a superior manpower, weaponry as well. And a lot of people are interested in this, that they are saying that there are also those who are supporting this resistance, not only by the that resistance, but also through by clicking, by providing that logistic supporters, and this is also necessary and needed. But it is also important that we don't want to ensure that the revenues will not go to the military as well. That is also important, that if there is more money going to the military, more revenues going to the military, means that can also help the military build a stronger as well. Military is considered as a like a terrorist force, and it is important for us to be able to use different ways to be attacked as well. For example, like you can also contribute to the people can refute to the resistance by donating funds, or contributing by clicking, by raising funds as well. But there's another way that people participate is in to support the defection as well. That I can feel that as well. I think this is also important. That you have that we don't know that maybe maybe we can say that about because some people say that 95% or 90% of the people in the military will never change, but there are 5 or 10% who can change. How do we do them as well? How do that? There will be those. There is also the AMRA system, but at the same time, we also need to have another way to engage the military, because our goal is to end this terrorist military institution. So it's important to weaken them as well. So defection means that soldiers are leaving that as well, and that there was an article I had written as well. There are 4 ways to do that as well. That it is we cannot say that leaving the military is not just one form of defection, and that there could be also different ways that people may stay inside. The second category of the defectors could be they are still inside the military, but they refuse to follow the orders given by the military, and then so they can also choose to support that resistance or the revolution in other ways as well. So that people are faced, they can be facing resistance in different forms as well, and that there can be other kind of categories of the defectors, and maybe like they are not arresting the people, the people the military have been ordered to, and that sometimes they will not share online, that the efforts they make will not be made public, but they are also in a way supporting this revolution as well. And that's something can also be. So the defection strategy is important to contain you. It's important to also do to keep on as well. As an individual person, I see is that if those are soldiers, there are soldiers who have left the military for good. There are those who are joining the armed resistance as well. There are those I think there is a gap between that understanding as understanding what they're thinking, what is their ideology, what do they believe in, to join that as well. That there has been so important to understand what kind of propaganda is spread the military, what kind of suicide what kind of this kind of the war has been that kind of rumors has been spreading as well, what kind of information can be in then. It is also important to understand there are a lot of informants who are inside the military who are sharing with the pro-democratic forces. It is also important to welcome them, and then to make sure that when it is available to release them, they have been supporting the movement as well. I think it is important to also recognize that as well. So right now, when we look at the fashion strategy, it's an ongoing strategy, and it is important to continue as well. And as to the feelings of the people, I'm also one of the people. We can see that people have strong feelings against the military. It is important to think about also the reconciliation, and that the factions is not a matter of reconciliation. There are the soldiers are leaving the military, and that it's not just about. You cannot say that it's just a saiwa. They're not really leaving, but it is a reality. We need to recognize and acknowledge that as well. Different level. This is something we need to keep on working. It is important also to know, to bridge the gap by understanding about the kind of side wars they have been running as well. It is also important to call on to people, to invite them as well. And then there is also another very major public concern, which is about what if these soldiers defecting are not just merely informants, or are they military spies? How do we deal with them? That also is that the people have already have us that are, it is coming from the strong feelings of resentment and hatred against the military as an oppressor, and then they also have these security concerns. I think that these suspicions and could grow into something big, so it is important to address them. It is important to explain to them as it is. These are the important points that you have to show the people that this has been taken care of, and that is all taken into consideration as well. The faction is a very important strategy as well. It supports that armed resistance, and that we know that there are those who support the revolution by taking up arms and fighting in this, but there are also other ways we can support this armed resistance revolution going on by helping that defenders program also as well. It is that you have like organizations like Protoni who are working on the ground. I think it is important to ensure there is a structure and systemic way of treating the factors, and it's also important that the factors continue to be an important channel for the Spring Revolution. Thank you, Kopyotia, for very comprehensive answer as well. I think that in this for the people, I need to also understand how important, what are the feelings of the people, and then also how important and also important to think about the defection as well. And then we have been there systematically discussing about it, that there are about the ideology of the defectors. Some of the defectors may not have a strong ideology or belief in, and the Protoni also earlier said that there are 3 categories of defectors, and that the defectors who are interested in. There are those also who are like discouraged. Some of them came to them for a strong feeling. Some are just coming because they don't want to work there, work for the military as well. And that so what my question is that how important their beliefs are, that what should they going to do? And there are those who came and that they are also in a way lost. They are depressed, they are lost, they don't know what to do, and they seem to have lost their way once they have defected as well. So that what can the defectors continue to do if they feel like they are losing their way? What will be your point as well? In my opinion, I think I was listening to Pro and Esther, who has shared a lot. I would like to share my perspective as well. That is the factor in that when you look at the defection, there is both the push and pull factors. I would say that the pull factor is like is that it is important we pull the military, we are on a way to so the soldiers to leave, and push will be that factor that we can use to for the soldiers to effectively leave the military itself. That I think there is like a military, in the military they have free reign. The soldiers don't have any control, don't have control at all. They can do whatever they want. And if you look at those the factors, you will see we don't see many people with the opposite, from the senior position, because if you are in a higher position, official, military, then they can do whatever they want. There is no control, there is no accountability. That's why we are not seeing senior officers leaving this. The full soldiers or that non-commissioned officers will be there leaving because they are not getting as much as. And why are they joining why are they Hispanic? Is that the ground soldiers. So why they stay inside the military? Because they can rape, they can loot, they can do whatever they want, being facing as well. And that also is that because there are those soldiers who remain in the with the push and pull because they like the injustice, they like not being the impunity, they like not being held accountable for the crimes that they are committed. So that's why in a way they will remain there as well. And then Another is about the toxicity, because they're being a brainwash, and that the military is important. Military is that even the president should come from the all the military. There has been a lot of brainwash inside war, because they will see the people as not good, and it's important to have a military to help the people, to save the people. The kind of brainwashing is also important. And also the OSF has said that they also they say things like that we have fought against the colonialists, and that there are also that there's the people who they want that those who are fighting resistance will be considered as a traitors, and as well that they need some sort of justification. They will say like, well, these are not people anymore, these are not citizens, no, they are the PDF, or they are the ESS voters, or EOD supporters as well. They have this such kind of propaganda, strong propaganda as well. And then what they also is kind of way to, there is also that impunity, being allowed to do things as well. There is also the brainwash mechanism. I think it is important to reduce that impedance. We need to take that blind force of them, so that they will realize that this is not true, and that's what you're saying. And then it is also important to ensure there is justice and accountability as well. There are legal mechanisms to do that. To also do that. Those what they are doing is that will be the way which can pull them as well. And there are also push factors. The soldiers need to be held accountable to understand that what they are doing is not professional, that they should be ashamed of being soldiers, and that because of this such a disgrace to that as well. And that they also, and I think also others are short, but that the soldiers also need to be aware that they are being oppressed, they are being bullied, they are being also denied of their equal right as well. This is something, if we if we can show them to the soldier, that they can also be a push factor for that they can no longer stay as well, that even our children are being used by by as well. I think that even not just the senior, or not just the members of the forces, but what happened is that in some areas that they will even have to be, the family members are also being treated inequally by the officer as well. And another, they have to realize that they can no longer win this war as well, and that some of the people will change sides because of the situation, and that they see that they can no longer have a chance to win, then they would join that they would join the side as well. And this is the sides that will only happen because when they see that there is absolute no way of winning this war as well, so that in a way that they be ashamed of be representing the terrorist organization of an organization institution that is harming the people and targeting the people, then they will also try to defect more as well. And this kind of defection, I think, will be important for us for that to happen. What do we need and what needs to be happen? I think it is important to listen to the voice of the advice of these the soldiers as well, and that we don't know what is happening on the ground. We don't know what's like in the military, so we need to listen to them. We need to listen to them to see what is happening, and that in a way you can only trust them through when you know the people. So it is important to talk to them. It is important to learn from them. It is important to see what is happening as well. It is important to hear them. It is important to let them talk to others as well, and that maybe also need to clarify that the propaganda they have been emerged in is not true, because military, the South military do that as well. They got in a way to control them. They would not have let them have access to the information as well. When we were young, like we are not, it does not encourage allowed to listen to the BBC or FORIA. They will say that we only have that's only one radio channel or the television to watch and listen to, and where they will spread the propaganda. So you're in a way sort of like a frame into them, for their whitewash propaganda kind of thing. So it is important to listen to the other voices and other opinions, and that will also help them change their ideology as well. Another also is that the background of the assets also important. In for example, like last year, where we talk about that about the prisoners of war that has been that is a red debt, and then they were treated well enough. And there's some people that say that when you have these photos of the prisoners of war being being treated nicely, by being treated with the proper rules and regulation, that really help us out, show us the standards of how does the military, how does that, that the EOs are treated each other, that prison, even the prisoners was treated properly. I think that will really help them as do we see that there is a difference in terms of standards of, response and reaction as well. And all these will help them. I think is there will be that will, sort of start an interest in that as well. That instead of, if I will go there, would it be better for me, rather than that they will see, I think it will highlight them the differences in terms of institutions, the way they treat people, the way they reaction. I think that will also help them as well. So it will also be contribute towards continue that implementation of the defection strategy as well. I think it is, but of course it is also important to recognize the loss that people have encountered, like that where the soldiers have burned down their villages. They will have a strong emotion and response against the military. I think that it is also, there are those who might be saying, okay, that they deserve the benefit of the doubt, and that they can also contribute to the revolution if they understand that they were able to accept as well. So I think it will also help us to be able to know that way with a stronger defection program. It will also help dismantle. At least we want people to understand that just so beyond that motion and see that it is important for that to win the revolution as well. It is also important that defectors need to understand the sentiments of the people, that the people have a strong reservations and resentment against them because of this. I am also a Burma, so I don't really, that as a Burma, that I have never done any kind of operation against ethnic minorities, but the Burmanization and that, Burma-centric will have a lot of feelings. That when the ethnic people are saying that how bad the Burma have been to them as well, that even if you are not the one who is doing it, it is important to be patient. It's also important to listen to their resentment against the Burma as well. In the same way, the soldiers who joined the People's Go and who became defectors, I'm sure you'll read a lot of comments, and there are also a lot of people who are railing, who are ranting out their sentiments against the being oppression against the people. You may have that as well, and that they have strong sentiments. They hate the soldiers. I think it is important to listen. It is important to step in their feet, and then there's somebody their shoes and to listen, to understand that and why they're doing it. Some will welcome, but some will have a strong emotions against you, and that it is because what happened. It is important for the soldiers to be aware about it and take that into consideration as well. And that it is also important that if the people are taking one step, it is also important for the soldiers to take two or more steps to be able to meet them in the middle, in a way, so in a way to help them as well. Thank you. That when I think it is also important that people be part of the process where we are trying to detox all that, remove the propaganda and the brainwash elements of political ideology as well. It is important that there are wounds, there are injuries, there are also trauma on both sides, and that was, but I think it is also important to look at where we want to go, and that and can go from there as well. As I understand that you have somewhere to go to. Can you also give us like closing? Can you give your remark to say good wishes for the new year for the people, as you have to leave earlier than I do? Yes, I also shared a post yesterday on my Facebook account about whether will we win the revolution or not, that is each and every one of us has different opinion, and that's, I think that's all right. But it is also important for us, if you look at it from the good perspective, you say I'm encouraged. A lot of people are entitled who have different opinions, but one thing one truth we cannot deny is that this revolution is going strong. It's been nearly 2 years, but people are still strongly supporting this revolution. That's the first important point. Another is we have the best potential in that best potential already, that ethnic communities, or all the ethnic communities hate the military, and that but so that that whenever the all ethnic community have strong feelings against them, we didn't do anything. We just stay silent as if we're not, that is not concerned us. But now every one of us can realize what is the common enemy, what is the common goal for the people of Myanmar. Now we are already together against this common enemy, and that's a very encouraging factor. Doesn't matter what is happening, it is an opportunity for us to build a niche. It is also, I would also like to encourage people to join in the revolution and do what you can to support as well. it is important time for us to stay together, stand strong, and work together. There will be we are now at the turning point of the history, and we'll be able to rewrite this history in our own way as well. So it is important for the other people to participate and contribute to the revolution as well, and to wrap up with us with the topic of our today's discussion. I'm not a fighter, and a lot of you that maybe and freedom fighters and all, but there are also other ways that you can also contribute to this revolution without taking the arms. That there are those, I respect those who can, but and also for those who are not there are ways to support it, to the logistics, to the funding, and that there are different ways you can do it. So it is also important that the fashion policy needs to continue to implement as well. So it is important for us to able to. There are feeling, there is hatred, there is resentment, but I think it is important to look at that as a small victories, because when we have a smaller the small victories will put together, then will reach us to a bigger favor. So it is important. Defection is a small victory. It is also important to look at the small victories to be able to reach the big victory. If you look at the small victories, if you look at what we are doing as a small victories, then way you will be able to understand what we can do and what we can see, what the people are doing. People are saying in a way are the small victories, but they can contribute a lot to that. So it is important that we manage our emotions and feelings, and then try to contribute to the defection program. So this way, the fashion program can be more effective and then play the important role it can. So that's what I would like to wish all of you to join us as well in this movement.
Thank you. Thank you very much for participating in this anniversary of this People Go conversation. Now it is a time for the last panelist, the CDM Captain Kimpapaton. And we will have the Q&A section after her conversation. If you have any particular question, please also raise your question through the chat box, the Q&A box in this webinar. And now to you, Captain Kimpapaton, what is your opinion in the defection and this progress as of now? Thank you. After the military coup, there has been defectors. So in the past, there are also soldier, the AWL, the soldier who ran away from the institution. They were called that way. In our in the military, cannot leave the institution once you are in. Before the military coup, when you leave the institution without official leave, you will be penalized. So although there are penalties, there were soldiers who still ran away to take a free life, to enjoy the free life. So they even and I mean they even accept the imprisonment penalty for being absent without official leave because they want to have freedom. So in the in at that time there were situation that we had this unfair order, the unfair discrimination, unfair oppression, unfair treatment. There were unfair discrimination. So some of the soldiers became or deliberately decide to be absent without official leave. And some of them leave or left the country. And now we have this military coup. This is to say that the whole country was treated the same as the soldiers. So the people and the soldiers were on the same boat. So I realized that I had to leave this unfair institution after the coup, welcoming the defectors, proper treatment of towards the defectors are there. I'm very glad to see them. So in the past, there are lots of defectors. There are very few soldiers who rejoin the military, and now the military use different tactics. They recruit more women military personnel. So the women military personnel were, I mean, were only condensed in the office, in the administration, in the medical service. But now the graduated women are encouraged to join the military because they have less men joining the military these days. And now the NUG would treat the informer soldiers who are pro revolution forces. So I learned that with the support of the informal soldiers for the NUG in the military, contribute some of the achievement in terms of the military operation by the revolutionary forces. So it is very important to get military intelligence in the hand of the revolutionary forces in order to get rid of this system. So I just would like to encourage those who are in the institution to join their hand as the informer for the NUG. We have this American NDAA. The American NDAA will have welcoming programs for the defectors. The basic needs is the critical for everyone. The security is critical for everyone to enjoy in their life, to have in their life. And if the basic needs would be addressed successfully for the defectors, the potential defectors will follow the pathway of the reasoned defectors. The more defectors that we have, the less shed of blood the ground. So, in my opinion, it is very important that we need to have more defectors. For that, I would like to encourage the public to welcome the defector. Thank you.
ဆိုတော့
Thank you very much for your comprehensive observation regarding the defection.
ဟာပြူပါပေါ့နော်ဒီဟာကိုကျွန်တော်နီးလန်းတစ်
I
ခု
would
နဲ့ဝင်နေ
like
ဒီနီး
to
လန်းတွေပေါင်း
ask
စုပြီး
you
တော့
a follow-up
ပြူဟာတစ်ခုအနေနဲ့
question. We have this defection strategy. In order to have the comprehensive defection strategy
အတွက်အမှား
be
အနေနဲ့ဘယ်လိုမျိုး
established in 2023, what would be your recommendation to have it in this year? Thank you. When we observed the military dictatorship, it has been 70 years that this system is negative prolonged in this country. We have this General Nevin, we have this General Tan Shui, and we have the current regime. So throughout all these regimes, the health sectors, the education sectors, socio-economic sectors were all degraded. I think it is not needed to have this kind of situation. We, the majority of us practice Buddhism. So the Buddhism is all about offering, sharing. But then again, there are people who died just at the door of the hospital, not being able to get access to the medical care. This is a situation that we do not want. This is a situation that we want to be in line with all the norms, all the bills of rights, all the human rights. So I would like to encourage everyone to revolt the unfair system. We want to build a new country. Please contribute whichever way, wherever way you can. Only then this revolution will be very much effective and efficient in its progress. And we have the pillars, supporting pillars of this bad regimes. For example, the medical services, medical military services might think that, well, you know what, we don't kill people, so we have nothing to do with this revolution. But no, you are supporting pillar of this regime. So I would like to encourage you to take defection and please join this People Embrace program. With this People Embrace program, you are doing the right thing. So even if you cannot join physically in this People Embrace program, or even if you cannot physically join the civil disobedience movement, please become the informer of the NUG. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to say thank you for your contribution. And without further ado, I want to leave
ဆိုတော့အခု
the floor for the questions and answer. And please make sure that you raise your question short to the point. Please raise your hand if you have any particular question that you would like to raise. Again, please make sure that you are to be concise in raising your question. The first person to raise a question is Mintura. Are you there? Maybe you might want to raise your question now. Thank you. I am one of the CDMRs. Well, we I take part of the armed struggles. We are operating on the ground, and we know that they have all sort of weapons in the military, but need soldiers. I think that I was part of the first batch of the CDMRs. I joined the ethnic armed organizations after leaving the military. I thank to the ethnic revolution organization. I was thinking about rooms for the improvement of the collaboration coordination. I end up being in the liberated areas with the help of the CDM captain Khin, and I just would like to share that there are soldiers who are interested in the defection, and some of the auxiliary level soldiers, military personnel who are educated, um, have attitudes that, you know what, we don't part of this killing, we just wait and see, we can just be where we are. So they have this kind of a status quo attitude. And they say that, well, you know what, when there would be the new regime, after, if this current regime was taken down, the new regime would not put all of us into prison, so we just stay where we are. So it's one of the attitudes that we observed as well. And we also experienced that some of the CDMRs from the military want to be low profile, and some of the CDMRs would want to take the asylum status in other countries as well. But then again, in my opinion, all this factors program seems not very synchronized or not very coordinated. And some of the CDMRs were seen as the military spies. But again, what I'm trying to say is that there are many soldiers who want to leave this military. But then again, some did not have the proper engagement or get access in terms of the program or in terms of the support that they would be able to leave the military. So there are many things that they have to consider before they leave this before they leave this the military. So all I'm trying to say is that the whole defection programs are very much scattered and require to be synchronized, coordinated, and collaborated. For some of the EAO area, they treat us very well, even if some of the CDMRs might be seemingly as the spies, and some of the EAO area would not necessarily have the welcoming attitudes to the defector. So I'm just sharing you all the insights as well. And I also would like to say that there is a need to have collaboration among various EROs, NUGs, and the settled CDMRs. So with this kind of tripartite engagement, the whole defector strategy would be improved. So I am wondering what kind of thinking or
ဒါတော့ဒီလို
what
မျိုး
would be the
ဟို
vision
ကွာဟမှုတွေရှိ
in
ရပေါ့နော်
terms of the future defection strategy. Thank you.
defection ကိုနားလည်မှုပေါ်
Thank you very much. What I learned from you is that the way that different ethnic revolution organizations, the stakeholders, have a different
ဒီပေါ်မှာ
opinion in terms
ဒီ
of
မျိုးအကြံ
the
ပေးချင်တာရှိတယ်
defection. So now I would like to ask Bado Sotoni of KNU to make a comment on that. Yes, there are rooms for huge improvement in this particular
မြင်တာကတော့လေ
aspect.
ကျွန်တော်ကိုယ်
We
တိုင်က
all
တော့အသေး
know
စိတ်တော့
it and we have to admit it. I do not want to go through all the details, but as far as I know, KNU, NUG, NUCC, they are talking about the
ဒီမူဝါဒအရဘာသာ
tactics
မက
regarding
ဘူး
the defection. And defection is to be treated not only as the policy agenda, but rather as the implementing program. So that's what I know. So in terms of the defectors, some of the
ဘက်ကို
defectors
ကူးပြောင်းလာတဲ့လူတွေဆိုတော့
want
ဒါနဲ့
to be part of the armed struggle of the revolution. Some of the defectors were traumatized, and they said that they did not want to do anything with the armed. So some of the defectors might want to
လေတော့ဒီဟာတွေကတေ
be
ချာ
part
ကို
of
ပြု
the
စုဟို
rehabilitation services for them, for their families. So defection, it's quite a huge program that's require
လူ
comprehensive
တွေကဟို
engagement and services. So all of these are the basic need for us to handle. You know, you cannot anticipate all the defectors to be part of the pro-revolutionary armed struggles. So if the defectors would stay away
ဒါတော့ကျွန်
from
တော်
the
တို့ကျွန်တော်သိတော့တော့အဲ့ဘက်မှာ
revolution
ကို
or
ကျွန်တော်
struggle,
KNU ရော
then
NUG ရော
what are
NUG
we going to do with them? So this is something that we have to think about. That for the KNU, NUGG, NUCC, they are developing the strategy, they are developing the
ဟုတ်
programs,
ဆက်
they
ပြီး
are
တော့ဒီမှာနောက်
developing the tactics
CDM
for the future. That is all I can say.
ဟိုဖိတ်ခေါ်ပါတယ်ဟိုဆွေးနွေးတဲ့အခါမိတဲ့အခါမှာ
And we have the
ဟိုတူတူနဲ့
CDM
နေပြီးဖို့ဟုတ်စာရေးခံပါတယ်
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ပါရှားလားမသိဘူးဗျာဟဲ့လို့
associate professor who raised his hand. Please come up with your question short to the point. Thank you very much.
ဆွေးနွေးချင်တာပေါ့နော်ပြီးသူကအမုန်းတရားဆိုတဲ့စကားလုံးလေးသုံးပါ
I just want to respond to the point that Dr. Pyoduhai raised about the hatred against of the people. What I understand is this: no, people just don't hate them because people hate the military as in response to what they have done. You know, over 30,000 houses has been burned down by the military, and then when people are arrested in the night, then the family receive the board the next day after the interrogation. So people don't have hatred for the militaries, and then because it is the people's response and reaction because of the scares, because they are scares and they're terrorized by the military, and that come out as hatred. And to the Pato Tony that also have mentioned in his response, I would like to say that this is in the Federal Democracy Charter, in an NUCC, and what I've noticed in the Federal Democracy Charter is that traditional justice. The traditional justice is very important when we talk about the defections or de facto. It is when you are in a revolution, this is extremely important. That when we that Miao Lai and So and Yato, and these are they are members of the they are members of the government. There are also like they knew, and then other they are all part of the treason. They are traitors to the society as well, and that 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 they have already the coup is already not in line with the constitution, so that already is against it as well. So I think it is important to hold them accountable for the CDMs. We are talking about that those are non-CDM masters to be taken action against them, but what about for them, like and that from brigadier general up to the general level, how do we take action against them, like majors and colonels at different level of position? What kind of action do we take them as well? I think this is also important. Transitional justice should be considered accordingly to the position they hold, especially for the senior military or the senior members of the government. And then the question is that I would like to know what kind of thinking has there been done on these topics that so I would like to know. This is my first part, first question. Second question is that this is my question to Captain Kibabato, that that so we call it that in the military had tend to have this extremist nationalism, or that ultra nationalism is that we call it the religious propaganda. It has been there since the past. It has also before, whenever we were teaching in the military, and when they never talk of the religion that is incredibly strong, like it's like a there are countries like Norway, Switzerland. They have they don't have a religion that they're allowed to, but they are very peaceful in a way as well. That Buddhism, and I understand is Buddhism is a very that a very calm kind of religion. But however, the military had turned that Buddhism into that something difficult, and that that where men being maybe other men, or the sexual violence against women. There are many things like that as well. So I think it is important to have that to have that as well. That even that it is important to be able to like that when you see that something, we also whenever we get information that's like the military had burned down a monastery and saying that we are following the orders. Orders are orders, yes, but there needs to be they should they have to follow it. I understand that there is no democracy inside the military, but should they be targeting that as well? Should be targeting the innocent people as well. You have the DSA as DSMA, maybe you come from like there is also nursing academy, and that as well, and that the military has their own institutions. And why are the military is not teaching the people on the ethics, because of morality and ethics is extremely important. It seems as if the military has never taught the morals or the ethics as well. So that means that shows very clearly that although military may have institutions, academy, they are doing it, they would they will recite everything. They will recite about the that prayed and sermons on them. But then again, the basic essence of Buddhism is not about reciting these sermons, but is to follow the rules, like the basic 5 concepts: thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit acts of violence and other. And why can they that military still cannot change their morality and ethics? So thank you for the questions. I think Thiha has another talk show, so he has to join. So I think when he understand about the point that he was talking about the feelings as a man, he is not blaming the people. What we are saying, that people have issues and people have problems, and that's what he is trying to build understanding. I think that's what's how I understand his comments as it is. The other question is about the transitional justice. I think it was for the transitional justice. So I think it's a very important, very broad topic. So maybe I request Sapru to keep the answer short to the point as well. The question is very broad. What I would like to say is that transitional justice is about that. When transitional justice has never existed in Myanmar. When we're going through the peace process, we cannot talk about transitional justice at all. But nowadays we have a opportunity. KNU as well as for the KNU, we already have a policy as well. It is important for the military to remove the military to be from the policy, but also have to have it is also important to have that to have a transition justice as well. Can you teach it in the KNU as well? That we also have in the in that JCC also was talking about it as well. I think it is something important to discuss as well, like from the brigadier to the general level, what will be the position that will be done. These are the detailed discussions. I cannot say yet because it's still going through the discussion. It still has to be approved first as well. Another point here I would like to share is that especially for that about the amnesty. The amnesty, I think there are cases where we cannot grant amnesty, like genocide or that ethnic cleansing or the massacres or the war crimes or the crimes of community. That's sure. They cannot be given amnesty. They cannot be pardoned for the crimes that they have committed. But however, the teacher is still in the discussion as well. So there is also another question for Kim and that when it comes to Buddhist extremism as well as on the impact on the ethics and that ethical teaching. So can you also discuss about that as well? Yeah. Well, inside the military, they never teach about is about the ethics as well. But as a Buddhist, that you grow up in the community, you go under the teaching of the Buddha is very much related to that as well. It also related to the social the social in a way instincts as well, which are inherent to that as well. There are people who have a good values, and that when in the military you'll see both good seniors, also say awful hard seniors. There are also some seniors which are like really good to the people, good to the followers, and they will never get promotion. Sometimes they will be that court martial and have to leave as well. So in a way, I would say in short that if you're a good person, you don't survive in the military. So you only have the villains and the bad people and the unethical people who are always in that military as well. After the coup, there are a lot of people who are they are afraid. They are afraid that what to do. They are afraid of being irregular as well, and that they are afraid they could be targeted. At that time, I was not even at the CDM movement. I said, I understand the karma and that I believe in the steps, or I believe in reincarnation, and I will try to follow the 5 precepts. The 5 steps is to do these are the I understand that the religious constraint to help people stay right and true as well. So that you cannot just say that I'm Buddhist and they're strong to I'm Buddhist and then have reading sermons and reciting sermons, and that it is important to put it. Buddhism is something we have to practice so that what happened in the military is that they may recite sermons, they may recite them in Sanskrit, but they are not practicing them as well. What happened is that all the regiments they would for example, they would put the limes, the citrons, the fruits are to the Buddha as well. I was really happy because they said it's a way to just, well, if you are giving too much of the lime to the Buddha, then maybe the Buddha will have have a too much sour and get his teeth will probably be itching. Why can't you make some lemonade out of it? Because you can also donate lemonade to the Buddha as well. So like from like they believe in this the guardian spirit of the trees. They will build a house small like a house to that. So and then they will say that the major or the regiment have to go, and the guardian spirit is asked to stand guard for them the regiment as well. Whether if the guardian spirit is if he is being asked to run the security guard without the position, without the salary, how whether this guardian spirit be happy to stand guard as well? Because sometimes I will always say that, and that because that really doesn't look good, but they don't like it as well. But they may be claim themselves to be Buddhist, but they don't practice them, they don't exercise the Buddhism, and that's why I would say this is happening, and that's why they are also committing such crimes against the people as well. Another part is about the discipline. Discipline is that even that officers are also committing such crimes. In a way, it's an organization that has lost its regulatory in a way framework. It's like a gang. It's an armed gang. It's an armed gang of those who are there committing crimes as well. And that if you continue to stay in this gang, then you are nothing but gang gang actors. It is important to leave that, stay away from, because all they've been doing is that it's not good as well. So thank you for sharing. So after the last question, we will end that. So I also have a question we have received that as well, and this is a question I would like to ask to that as well, and that so one question is how does the international community see the defectors? Can you if you can discuss the question, that would be great. How does the international community see the defectors?
Hello.
I cannot open the video now. Sorry about that. Let me answer the question without it as well. So the way the international community see it, I would like if you look at it from the other perspectives, and that in the beginning, I think until 2012 May or April, I would say that international community that people don't trust the defection, especially when it comes to the support and the logistics, and that like Padu have already shared before, like some of them may come, some of they defect because they want to leave to their country. So there were a lot of difficulties and challenges for the defectors. But after May, that with the number of the military CDM have increased, and also there are also more situation as well. And those defectors who have left also have as a defector when they leave as well, that they seem to be they do a lot more advocacy as well, and that this topic became more widely known. And since then we are seeing more of the people accept more, the international community accepting more of the defectors as well, and that so this is what I learned through the international writings as well, and that so NUG also has we are also seeing that there's been a more efforts for that as well, and that to along with this as well, that we are seeing that international, that we are also seeing a more of acceptance and recognition from the international community. We are also seeing that more of the support, more those supporting the energy and others supporting, and more seem to be supporting more of that as well. And that one that is a particular thing is that the international could be that they could also they seem to be of more of a accept more acknowledgement as well, and that so it's difficult, I think, it is still more difficult for them to get recognition for the defector, because it's related to the military, it's also related to the weaponry and the resistance, so quite difficult indeed. But through this we are seeing more and more efforts as well for that as well, that and in the defection that in terms of that we are also, there has been a question asked about the defectors. I also would like to share about that the 4 challenges as well that I am also that is work with the I'm also work with the defectors in the Kachin area as well. I also did some discussion with the defectors in Kachin. I said I also have been to some of the area as well. What I've noticed is that the biggest issue is the trust issue, because to be able to trust each other, it can be very difficult. That we don't know, it's kind of, we have to be careful about who the informers are. Not everyone are not everyone can be such informants, but there is a trust issue, security issue as well. So it is important whenever we work with the community that there'll be whenever you engage the community on the ground, sometimes it can also be difficult as well, because it is related to the trust issue, and that can also be difficult as well. These are the challenges that we have as well, that I think it is important, if you want to if they want to know, if you can get easily discouraged, and then I think it is important to remain strong and committed. Then we can also be we can also make these things facilitate as a process for for that as well. But with the challenges in terms of trust and security, it's very difficult to engage, to link with them, connect with them, to be able to do that as well. I think it is also, I would like to encourage to follow the process and be patient, because there is an issue of this. Another part is about the preparation, that when it comes to that if nobody had expected this revolution like that, or nobody expect that there will be a lot more a lot more of that the factors all that as well. So we are responding to what is happening on the situation. There are also a lot of weaknesses, and it's so important to be prepared about it as well. There are challenges in terms of management. There are also challenges. There's others. So people come from people of different mindset as well, and the people have different ideologies. Some are like other we discussed. People come with different mindset as well. Some of them have trauma. Some of them have issues. Some of them are looking to fight for independence. But then people come with different challenges, and it is difficult to manage them as well. And it is also that. And also be it can also be very difficult as well, and that as person and that these are the challenges we face. But despite the challenges that we have, despite what is happening, I think over 10,000 people have joined the CDM movement as a defector. Is a very good number. Is that there's also, I think it is important to support each other. It is important to help each other. It is important to work with each other and hope that we'll be successful. Thank you for the questions. Now the time is up, and we are running late, so we'd like to wrap up that our today's discussion. And then I would like to ask the panelists to share give us some closing remarks and the good wishes for the for 2023 as well. So there are also still soldiers that who are there here. So what kind of what mission you want to share for that people as well? So yes, in our country, so that the military is doing the way the military is doing, it's like they're mafia, like a gang, and that's why it's very difficult for those inside the military. For everyone to leave can be very difficult. So what can they do if you are still to remain inside? The least they can do is to is to not to obey the order as well, and that's something they can do as I think even if you cannot leave, and I think it is important that you try to be able to I think called the KNU or the NUG. I think it is important to we also need to think carefully about this as well, especially in terms of policy, and that in terms of that strategy as well. We have to be more careful. I think it is they would reach out to us. They can also reach out to us as well if they want to leave. Then there are also things that we can do. We have the people's school and the team that they can also help them as well. But that you can also engage with their different organizations to come as well. But even if you cannot leave, there are things that you can do whilst they remain inside the military, especially is that it is important. There are the way when we are hearing about that, that they are targeting the civilians and that with the area bombing. And maybe if you're still inside the military, there are a lot of things you can do. There are also they can do inside from the inside. They can do to stop that from happening from the military targeting as well. And that and also that there are many there are many that are military factories where they're producing military equipment. If you are still inside the military, you don't have a chance to go, then there are things that you can do to help them stop as well. I mean, like rather than having to be everyone be able to leave, I think you can also support that as well. That even if you are still inside the military, you have to still remain inside the military. There are ways you can do to support it and to support the movement, and by the by sabotaging the military or their action as well. That even if you cannot, if you are still inside the military, that or the what we call the watermelon, I think there are a lot of things that they can do to stop the military from being effective. And as well, another message is for the people as well. That people are suffering, and that what people are suffering is the incredible is horrible. That people are living in great fear. That about 1 to 2 million people are suffering as well. That that in reality what is happening is horrible, and that that it is all that it is very difficult for us to be able to provide assistance as well. All the people are suffering through the incredible hardships right now and difficulties, and we are facing a different forms of the violence happening. So we need to continue pushing for it. We need to continue pushing hard. If we cannot push hard, we are continue fighting, then we will be handing the future back to the hands of the military. So it is important for us to stand strong and remain committed for it, so that we can build a better future for the people as well. Thank you for giving us the time participating as well. I would also like to request Master to give that New Year wishes and the message you want to give to the people. Would like to and our talk show with your remarks too. Thank you. For me, that I've been working systematically for the Kachin IDB since that 2011. I've been working actively on that. Since then, what I have seen is that there has been times when I was really depressed and distressed, and then looking at the situation is so bad. It doesn't matter through the media or different ways, and I have been trying to share it. So I have felt that people do not hear us at all, because everybody was saying that, oh, this is not possible, or military can't be that bad, or like we are exaggerating, it's all hyperbole, and that people, and when people don't know about it, so that they don't and that there has been a very little that compassion, even if we give them the data, and the people are not worried about it. There were times where it was really hard for us to go on in detail, but now that we are seeing how horrible that is. With that event is happening, what I understand is that now is the best time for all of us. Now is the best time for all of us that to be able to eradicate the fascism and the militarism as well. Now is the time we have the highest hope as well. I'm only have 10 years of working as well, and that that I have been working on this. I'm working on the on this. There has been other seniors who have already dedicated their lives for all their lives as well. But then I think it is important for those who have been sacrificing their life, and that that I think this now is the time we are hearing about the people, and that about the story. Now is the time we have the highest hope as well, and that we hope that this will not. We want to be able to stop such horrible events happening, and that to be able to stop the fascism, which has destroyed all our lives. And it is important for us to remain strong and remain committed to continue the fight against the military dictatorship. It is important. We are here, and that we are here, and that it has been a long journey for us, and that if you look at it, before that. Myanmar, our title was that, the country is the longest civil war, but now we have been able to make make a history, and that all the people are supporting is that we are now, maybe we want to keep a new record, new milestone as the strongest anti-military dictatorship, for with the public support as well. I think it is important for continue to work in as well. So, and that now we are talking about the defection, so that I also like to add that it is important to that to if you are of the mind that you want to be a defector, but if you have difficulty challenges, then read that wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, or wherever you may be, it is important to, if you have a strong ideology, there are many ways you can contribute to that as well. There are three ways you can do as well. You can also participate in the movement as a civilian as well. Doesn't matter where you are, even if you cannot leave the military right now, even if you want to and you cannot, then there are things. It is important to think about what you can do right now and to be part of the process as you are, because this is something. I don't joining the defection or being a defector is something you will never ever regret. Thank you for the participating. Thank you for this as well. And that last but not the least, I would like to invite Captain Kibabaton. So you will be as the last speaker. I would like to give you what will be your concluding works for the new year.
First of all, I have a message to the soldiers in the military. Please hold your hands together with us in order to protect the country, in order to protect the people. Please join us physically. If you cannot be physically defecting, please be in the military and help the revolution as the improvement. We got some intelligence that the military is weak. It's very important for us to uproot the military dictatorship once and for all. We are to fight for our own struggle to
ပြီးသွားဟိုနောက်ဆုံး mask ပြောပြသွားခြင်းဆို
what for. Thank you very much. It's been almost 2 hours for this conversation that is ongoing. I thanks to all the audience. It is very difficult to see
ဒီလိုမျိုးမီးလောင်ခွင်းတွေကနေ
a
ဒီလို
prosperous
မျိုးဖြစ်နေ
new year. It is not prosperous. We have killing fields, we have burning fields, and we have all these atrocities. Among them, understanding among ourselves, progressive in the revolution,
တက်ချင်ပါတယ်
encouraging our direction. It's what we all need for. Thank you very much to all of you, and this is the pathway waiting ahead of us. And thank you very much for watching us. Goodbye for now.
So no linga da naya samyeba yongji de manapyan we do ba deja de Listen